Welcome. We're moving deliberately, incrementally through Ecclesiastes chapter 1. We're not rushing through this part. Once we get through Ecclesiastes chapter 1, we'll be following the rest of Ecclesiastes thematically with chunks. So otherwise we would be in Ecclesiastes for the rest of the year. And we still have to get to Job, the wisdom that you need when you're suffering, and the book of Proverbs, that's practical wisdom, and then that wonderful book, which is the highest wisdom of all, the book of Solomon's Song, Canticles, and the book of romantic wisdom, or the wisdom of love. Yeah, can't wait to get there. But for today, we are learning how to think rightly. We are being deliberately progressive in our entrance into understanding the meaning of life and all of those things that are associated with reality. Things to do with time, things to do with beauty, that which has morality or values attached to it. All of these things that are involved with the things that give us a sense of meaning in life, that makes life matter. You need to understand the meaning of life and your life, the meaning of your life, because life is tough and you have to have a reason. You've got to have a reason to live and a reason to die. Otherwise, life just slips past you and you have no purpose and you lose orientation, and in the end you become a nihilist. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. For today, we're in Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and we're looking at verse 14. I have seen all the things done under the sun. All of them are meaningless. I have seen all things, all the things. I've seen them all. And all of them are meaningless. My. Perhaps, like Solomon, you've seen all the things. But what about the things that lie beyond what you can see? It's actually those things that lie beyond what your eye can see that hold all of the meaning in life. No man can see God. Faith is the substance of things unseen. You can't see a feeling. You can't see the wind. You can't see gravitation. You can't see love. The meaningful things are often invisible to the eye. This isn't saying that objects aren't important. The three-dimensional world is necessary for taking a firm grip upon reality, which is essential to avoiding insanity. In my life, I've experienced times wherein I have felt as though I've been going crazy, going insane, going mad. Yes, it's a discomforting feeling. During those times, being able to grab hold of things that are an object and just appreciating the validity of that object has just helped me to maintain my sanity, helped me to live within this three-dimensional world of space and time and matter. Sometimes in your life you've just got to survive, you've just got to get through. And the three-dimensional work gives you a framework for establishing meaning, for establishing how you're going to walk your path through life, even for knowing which direction to take, to walk to the left or to the right. Yes. So when the atheist shouts, "Prove that God exists," he's thinking of only that, of only what he can see. But what we see is really only the beginning of reality. Reality goes way beyond that. God has fully equipped us with the tools necessary to engage with reality. He made us body, soul, and spirit. And through our body, we contact or know the material world, space and time and matter. Our spirit relates to the spiritual world. Oh, that's the world that you can't see. And our soul, that's our emotions and our intellect or rationale, and our will, gives us self-knowledge, helps us to know ourselves. Now, ultimate reality is known through the fusion of all three aspects of life. And God has provided us with all the tools necessary for us to discern the real from the unreal, the meaningful from the meaningless, the spiritual from the spiritless. And through knowing ultimate reality, we find ultimate meaning. We have discovered that we receive meaning first. Before our minds have rationally interpreted a situation, we discover meaning first. A little girl walking with her daddy will feel perfectly safe as long as her father's face is calm and relaxed. But were something to happen and his face portray terror, then she'll interpret the situation as dangerous and be afraid, even though she knows nothing more than the look upon her father's face. This is because we gather meaning first. A car traveling towards you suddenly veers onto your side of the road. Instantly, you take evasive action, and it's only after you've taken evasive action that you think about what just happened, because meaning comes first. You see danger before you unravel what it is that is dangerous. Meaning comes first. When Adam saw Eve, before there were ever any parents, he said, "For this reason a man will leave his father and mother," because meaning comes first. Take a piece of chalk. Hang in with me. Sometimes we've got to think deeply about simple things. Take a piece of chalk. Instinctively, I know to write with it because the chalk has meaning. It is not meaningless. It has meaning. That chalk is so laden with meaning that even a little child will pick it up and start drawing with it. Again, that's because the meaning comes first. She learns later that it's chalk. He learns later that it is chalk. All he knows is when he sees that thing, he's got to start drawing or writing or rubbing it on the ground or anywhere that he can find. Now, should I take that piece of chalk and write with it, immediately the chalk has transcended itself and become a literary statement. Now, let's just take that. So immediately, there is a whole lot more meaning in that piece of chalk than just what those who are materialists would think. They would just say, well, it's just a piece of chalk. A piece of chalk is a piece of chalk. No, there is far more meaning within it, and I've proven it by writing some literary statement. If I were to write scripture with that piece of chalk, then it takes on even more meaning. Even a child knows that a piece of chalk is more than just a piece of chalk. Now, when over a period of 33 years, Arthur Stace took a piece of chalk and wrote eternity on the sidewalks of Sydney, that chalk changed the city. That's how much meaning is in a piece of chalk. Have you ever heard the phrase, the pen is mightier than the sword? Wow. That's saying something. The pen is mightier than the sword. So you don't look at a sword and think writing. You don't look at a sword and think book, because meaning is intrinsic to the object. And the sword, you look at the sword and you think life and death. You don't think writing because the meaning is in the object. Consider a chair. The pragmatist would say a chair is a chair is a chair. But when a person holds a title that is called the chair, suddenly there is far more meaning and authority in that word chair. So a chair is more than a chair. If the Queen of England sits on a chair, that same chair becomes a throne. And her throne is actually representative of God's throne in heaven. So there's much more meaning in a chair than what the eye can see. Now, reality is not something cold and dark and hard and factual. Reality is infused with life, and it's there to be experienced. In fact, everything we see here on earth is in reality the representation of a far greater reality in heaven. Of course, you've got to be able to see that. You've got to be fully engaged with that. You've got to use all of your internal gifts to be able to ascertain that. You need to switch on all of your tools of apprehension, and not just your eyes, but also your spirit and soul. Yeah. Finally, in this verse, the teacher says, I've seen all things done. You must do something, and you must do it with meaning and with intent. The person who finds what he does meaningless and the person who finds it meaningful are both doing the same thing, but the first person does it with meaning, while the latter can't see the point. Think about it. Pride makes us artificial, and pride makes the world around us superficial. Humility alone grasps reality to the point where we see the meaning of something. Oh, this is a deep dive today, deep discussion today. Think about it. Much wisdom in this, if you can see it, if you can realize it, if you can open up your eyes. What did Jesus mean when he said, you have eyes but you cannot see? He's saying there's much more to what your eyes can see than what your eyes can see. Yes, you've got to really look to genuinely see what is there to behold. Ah, yes. God bless you. We'll see you again tomorrow for some more wisdom from the book of Ecclesiastes.